In 1904, in a quiet valley between Vermont and Quebec, one family did something that would be almost impossible today. They built a grand stone building directly on top of the border between the United States and Canada. On purpose. One country on the left, another on the right, and a single black line running straight through the middle of the floor. They called it a gift to two nations. For more than 100 years it worked, and then, almost overnight, that same line nearly tore it apart. This is the Haskell Free Library and Opera House. Its front door opens in Darby Line, Vermont. Its books sit in Stansted, Quebec. It has 2 addresses, 2 postal codes, and 2 flags, and until very recently, you could walk between 2 countries here without ever showing a passport. The story begins with Martha Stewart Haskell. In 1901, she started building the library in memory of her late husband, Carlos, and her parents. But Martha didn't want it to belong to just one town or one country. Her family had roots on both sides of the line, and she wanted Americans and Canadians to share it equally. So the architects did something deliberate. They placed the building squarely on the international boundary. The reading room and the opera stage ended up in Canada. The main entrance and most of the theater seats ended up in the United States. When it opened in 1904, it became, as locals like to joke, the only opera house in America with no stage, because the stage is in another country. Inside, the border isn't hidden, it's marked. A thick black line runs diagonally across the library floor, and again beneath the seats of the theater upstairs, tracing the exact path of the frontier. Children used to stand with one foot in each nation. Even the books take sides. The English and French collections are shelved separately, their titles printed in opposite directions on the spines. And above the stage hangs a hand-painted curtain of Venice, framed by plump plaster cherubs, a little European opera house dropped into the northern woods. For most of its life, the Haskell was something rare, a place that simply ignored the line it was built on. Canadians walked in through the American door. Americans browsed shelves that technically sat in Quebec. And when borders hardened elsewhere, the library became a refuge. After the 2017 travel ban, families who were suddenly forbidden from entering the United States met their loved ones here instead, sitting together in the same reading room, an international border running invisibly between their chairs. For a while, it was one of the only places on Earth where they could meet at all. But a building on a border is only ever as open as the border itself. In 2025, that changed. Citing security, the United States began restricting Canadians from using the historic front entrance, the same door they had walked through for over a century. A visiting American official stepped across the line inside and called Canada the 51st state. Suddenly, the little black line on the floor wasn't a charming quirk. It felt like a wall. So the community did what the Haskells had done a century before. They built. Donations poured in from both countries, the novelist Louise Penny among them, to fund a brand new entrance on the Canadian side. It opened in 2026, so that Canadians could keep coming home to their library. The Haskell Free Library was built to prove a point, that a line on a map doesn't have to divide the people standing on either side of it. For over 100 years, it kept that promise. And even now, with new doors and new rules, people on both sides are still fighting to protect one room in the world where the border is just a line on the floor and nothing more. That's why it's there,